Hey everyone, Camille here from 88 Fitness Training. Welcome back. Today we are launching a new video series. It's all about picking the right exercises and the stimulus to fatigue ratio. So this video is for anyone that wants to maximize their hypertrophy gains, build those big muscles, and pick the right exercises. So stay tuned, check it out. All right, so let's dive right into exercise effectiveness and stimulus to fatigue ratio. This was actually a special request from Keenan, one of our subscribers, so thank you, Keenan, for this request. We love covering content for you guys, so keep those requests coming. Before we get too deep into specific exercises, I just want to talk for a minute about what effectiveness is and what stimulus to fatigue ratio is. Effectiveness is going to be how well a stimulus leads to a desired outcome. So in this case, hypertrophy, right? Gaining muscle size. Stimulus is just going to be the positive impact of exercise on muscle strength, size, and adaptation. Fatigue, on the other hand, for the purposes of this video, is usually the wear and tear that occurs on your joints and connective tissues. So to put it simply, the stimulus to fatigue ratio is a way to compare the stimulus gained from a workout to the damage or fatigue that it's causing. So ideally, you want to pick exercises that are pretty balanced in terms of stimulus to fatigue. We want a large amount of stimulus and low fatigue. So I have to caveat this with that everybody is created differently. So while I'm giving you what, general masses might think is pretty good stimulus to fatigue ratio, everyone's different. So you really have to try it and see how your body personally responds. So the first exercise that I want to talk about is barbell curls. Right, in terms of overall effectiveness, it is pretty high. I would actually give this a 4 out of 5 in terms of building arm size, especially in the biceps. However, SFR, I mark it a little lower. It's more of like a 3 out of 5. While it's high stimulus, it is pretty high fatigue. So in any case, let me just go ahead and show you this. So you grab your bar, you come up, you squeeze, you lower slow, just like this. So it's really great exercise for trying to progressively overload the biceps and crank up that weight. You are working, both parts of the biceps. So really great exercise. So while the stimulus is high for this one, the fatigue's also pretty high. A lot of people feel this in their wrists and their elbows later, making it a little more of a challenging exercise. But still, overall effectiveness, I say it's a 4 out of 5. Now, if you want to change this up a little bit, you could try the drag curl. So the drag curl is still going to provide a high degree of stimulus on the bicep, but it's going to provide a lot less fatigue. I would say the fatigue's pretty low on the barbell drag curl. So that's a really great variation. So in terms of SFR, I would give the drag curl a 4 out of 5. The next exercise I'll talk about for biceps is going to be the chin up versus underhand pull downs. So the chin up is a great compound exercise for the biceps, and it really is great for muscle hypertrophy. So again, I would give it a 4 out of 5 in terms of building muscle size. However, on the SFR, I would give it a 3 out of 5 because most people find doing chin-ups pretty damaging. You definitely start to feel it in your elbows. A lot of people feel it in their neck, and some even in the shoulders. So there's a high degree of fatigue to it. If you don't get fatigued from it, that is great, but definitely check your stimulus because it might mean it's just too easy for you and you either need to add weight to yourself or something like that. Now, if we're comparing that to an underhand pull down, which I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate for you, look something like this. You're getting that nice contraction on the biceps, good stretch at the top, just like this. This is high degree of stimulus and low fatigue, right? And the great part is you can crank up the weight on this cable stack. Like you really can ramp it up and it's still high stimulus, low fatigue. So in this one, I would give it a 5 out of 5 in terms of biceps for SFR. Next, we're gonna move on to triceps. So let's talk about, the upper body squat, the dips. The dips are a great compound exercise in terms of overall effectiveness. For tricep hypertrophy, it is pretty high. Like I would give that a 4 out of 5 in terms of building muscle size. But unfortunately, when it comes to SFR, it's high stimulus, high fatigue, giving it a 3 out of 5. So let me just go ahead and show you. So dips look like this. If you're trying to target the triceps, you want to stay straight up and down, just like this. All right. So now dips are pretty nasty, y'all. Like I said, you are going to feel those triceps when you do your dips. It's high stimulus. It doesn't even take a lot of volume or a lot of sets to get that nice tricep pump from this. It's pretty much instantaneous. But in terms of fatigue, a lot of people, including myself, it really does wreak some havoc on your connective tissues and joints. You usually feel it the next day. So I give this one a 3 out of 5 in terms of SFR. The next exercise I'll go through is a tricep extension. I highly recommend a rope overhead extension. You want to drop that carriage head down low so we get nice deep stretch. So let me show you what it looks like. Just go ahead, bring this behind your back, stand pretty close to the stack, stretch those triceps nice and deep, then come up and squeeze. Now this variation of the overhead extension is really great. In terms of tricep hypertrophy, it's pretty high. I give it a 4 out of 5. And in terms of SFR, I also give it a 4 out of 5. So unlike the dips that were high stimulus, high fatigue, this overhead rope extension is high stimulus, low fatigue, making it a superior exercise that you can do for tricep hypertrophy. So I hope you've taken away some good tips from this video, especially, the point that effectiveness matters. I mean, you want to pick exercises that are effective for your goal, which in this case, we're talking about muscle hypertrophy. So make sure you're picking good exercises that work for you and help contribute to that goal. And then, lastly, mind the SFR, y'all. Like pick high stimulus, low fatigue exercises, especially if you want any longevity in this sport. If you are constantly going high stimulus, high fatigue, 1 or 2 things is gonna happen, preferably the number 2, which is you're gonna break. You're gonna get an injury, it's gonna sideline you. You don't want that. If you wanna spend year after year making those gains, building those muscles, then pick the ones that are high stimulus, low fatigue. And that might mean doing the same exercises over and over again. Maybe you can't do those wild and crazy things that you see on Instagram. That's okay. Like we are here to build muscle, not follow the masses. So just keep that in mind. All right, y'all, I hope you've enjoyed this video on exercise effectiveness and SFR for arms, biceps, and triceps. For more videos like it, definitely check out our playlist. And as always, like and subscribe. Camille, 88 Fitness Training.